guys, so today I am doing my November wrap up. I know this doesn't look like a whole lot, but I actually had one e-arc, one audiobook, 2 audiobooks, and then one from the library. So let's get into it. The first thing that I read in November was actually one of the audiobooks that I borrowed from the library, and that is All the Beautiful Lies by Peter Swanson. This book is about a guy, I don't remember his name, but he goes back home after hearing that his father slipped off of a cliff and died, but he kind of is a little bit suspicious because it's a walk that his father had taken for years every single day. So he kind of suspects something a little suspicious, but he goes home to his much younger stepmom, and some things start happening between the two, and some secrets get spilled. So it's a fantastic Peter Swanson book. Like, I love everything Peter Swanson has ever put out. This is no exception. I gave this one 5 stars. It's amazing. I can't say enough good things about it. I absolutely love that book. The characters, again, like, they're just so unapologetically just them. They're selfish, they are resourceful. Like, I don't know. His books just, like, they make me worry for humanity. But at the same time, I'm like, this is so good. Like, this is like watching a train wreck. You can't stop. Like, you can't take your eyes away from it. But it's in the best way possible. Like, this book was fantastic. Like 5 out of 5. There's nothing else I can say about it. The next book that I read in November was Do Not Disturb by A.R. Torr. This is about Deanna Madden. This is the sequel to The Girl in 6E. She is a cam girl, but in the last book she had to leave her apartment to rescue someone. This one is kind of about rescuing herself from a suspicious, scary kind of client, while also trying to figure out this new formed romance from the first book. I absolutely love the love interest in this book. He is just delightful, and I love him, and just like his little bit of innocence is just precious, mixed with her like basically no innocence at all. This book is just fantastic. I think I gave this one 5 stars as well. I had a really good beginning of November as far as books are concerned. The next book that I read was actually one that I got from the library, and that is Fat Girl on a Plane. I did not like this book at all. I gave it 2 stars just because the writing was okay. Not a fan. I did not like the way that she portrayed plus-size girls. I know it's a very real way that she described them, but I don't know. I had trouble not getting angry. Like, I was uncomfortable with it. I didn't like the fact that just like all of a sudden there was this love interest because she was skinny, and I don't know. And just like the way the girl treats people in her life, I don't know. It's kind of the same issues that I had with Dumplin' by Julie Murphy. I don't know. I didn't like it. Oh, but Fat Girl on a Plane, I just started complaining about it. It's about this girl, and it goes back and forth between like when she starts this system that's kind of like Weight Watchers, kind of. I don't even remember what she called it, but it's like when she starts that program versus when she's actually skinny, and it's like kind of a peek into the fashion industry and how like they really don't think about plus size girls. But I don't know, I kind of got an icky feeling reading this book. I just did not enjoy it. The next book that I read was actually an e-arc from NetGalley, and that was Can You Keep a Secret? Or it was later called Cuckoo. by Sophie Draper. I believe that was from Audiobooks. It actually came out, I think, the last week of November. I'll put the publication date right here, but it's already out. Like, you all can go read it if you want. It's about this girl that her stepmom kind of, like, she falls down from a banister at the top of the stairs and dies. So the girl like goes back for her funeral, she goes back home and she sees her sister who has basically excommunicated herself. And her sister tells her like, hey, one of us has to inherit the house. I don't want it, you take it. And this girl's a struggling artist, so she's like, yeah, sure, okay, like I'll take it. But then she starts kind of like finding weird things, and weird things start happening around the house, and it's real weird. It was okay. Like, none of it surprised me. None of it was like, oh my gosh, this is like the best thriller I've ever read. I don't think so. I gave it 3 stars. Like, the writing was good, and I think this is good for somebody who doesn't normally read mystery or thriller books, but as someone who has recently started reading a bunch of them, this was not my thing. I do thank Audiobooks for giving me the opportunity to read this via NetGalley. Like, I appreciate that so much. This is still very weird territory for me, being able to read books that aren't out yet. But this one was just okay. So the other audiobook that I got from the library, guys, I read Legendary by Stephanie Carver. I get the feeling it's about to storm outside. This book was fantastic. Can you tell it had a sticker on it? I hate that. I need to take a baby wipe to it. I'm sure it'll come out. But anyway, this book focuses more on Donatella as opposed to Scarlet, and it's about they're going to participate in the next Caraval, which is really unusual because Legend never puts on a second Caraval during the year, but for some reason he decided to do it this year. And Donatella has to figure out like where her mom is, who Legend is, and how to save their mom, because she has basically struck up a deal with a criminal that if she does not find out who Legend is, then her mom is basically a goner. This book was just as lyrical and lush and fantastic as the first one. Another 5-star book. November was a really good reading month for me, just in case you were wondering. Not quantity-wise, but quality-wise, definitely. I loved listening to this. I'm definitely gonna listen to Finale whenever it comes out, which I think is next year, but I'm definitely gonna listen to it in audiobook because this was the best decision I could have made for these books, was to listen to them in audiobook, and I highly suggest you listen to them that way. And then the last book that I read in November is quite possibly one of my absolute favorite books I have read this entire year. And that's Sadie by Courtney Summers. I loved this book. It is so good. This is like the YA version of Peter Swanson. Like, I love the podcast setting. I love the parts where Sadie is talking to us, although I like the podcast parts better. This is about a girl named Sadie that her and her sister live in a trailer because their mom was a drug addict and she just kind of vanished when they were younger. But all that was sent was a postcard that her mom had sent saying like, be my good girl, to her younger sister. And then I think when she's like 16, I think 13. I don't remember how old the younger sister was. I think 13. Anyway, but she is actually found out by an abandoned chapel and she's dead. Like, what? But Sadie is convinced that one of her mom's ex-boyfriends, who actually used to abuse them, is behind it. So she kind of goes out to try and find him and kill him. This book is so good. If you aren't planning on reading this, like, you're crazy, read it please and tell me what you think, because I absolutely loved this book. Like, it was fantastic. I couldn't find anything wrong with it, besides I didn't like some of the parts where it was just Sadie talking, but honestly, that's fine. I still gave this 5 stars. I thought, like, I would just give anything to give this book all the stars. Like, this is definitely gonna be in my top 10 for the year. This is probably gonna be my top 5 for the year. Like, just, I can't talk about this book enough. It's so good. So yeah, those are the books that I read in November. I'm really excited that I found a couple new, like, favorite books, especially Sadie. But yeah, so if you all would like to tell me what you read in November, please tell me down in the comments below. Please do follow me on social media. I am on Instagram and Twitter, and I am at BohannonBabbles on both. I would love to talk to you all in, like, any form or fashion and get to know you all. That would be awesome. But yeah, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.